This is the last 64 of Pro Event 3, and it's two up-and-coming players, two of the young guns. It's Luke Gilbert, who's won the lag and just broken the first frame. He's playing against Morgan McInnes. And Nick Finn, joined on commentary by Josh Kane.
Yeah, good afternoon, Nick. Good afternoon to all the viewers at home.
Yeah, I say two up-and-coming players. I mean, Luke has definitely cut his teeth on the Ultimate Pool Tour. Came through the Challenger Series a couple of years ago and has been increasing, just increasing his stature right the way throughout every event pretty much. And he lifted a trophy in the first weekend. It's just been fantastic to see his growth and his climb. And across the table from him, Morgan McInnes, who is every bit as equal player of Luke. He's a lot newer to the Pro Series, but there's things to come from Morgan over the next couple of years, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. Morgan's improving all the time. He's certainly not a player to take lightly, but as you said at the start there, Nick, Luke is very established pro on the circuit now, and I've played with Luke for years, watching him grow up and get better. And for me, he was always the standout person coming through from the age group below myself. When I was 25 or so, Luke would have been 20 odd, and he was always the standout for me. So it's certainly not a surprise to me to see him do what he's been doing.
It's been wonderful
the past few years. Yeah,
wonderful to see that journey. It's been a real organic growth through Ultimate Pool. He's really probably the first player who's kind of just come from almost amateur status into pro status and then gone on and won those events. That journey's been pretty epic for him. But as I say, Morgan McInnes obviously comes from incredible pedigree. It's been difficult for him in some ways, I guess, because he's you almost live in the shadow of what your dad's done. His dad's obviously Ross McInnes, and what he achieved in the game has been absolutely phenomenal. But Morgan just starting to find his own place now. He's won so many events in Scotland. He really is a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely one of the most improved players on the amateur circuit, and now he's made his way up to the pro circuit. And like I said before, he's not one to be taken lightly. He's a very, very solid player. He'll give 100% on every single shot, and he'll always play the right shot, as we've seen there. He won't be one for pushing the boat out and going for, say, a 50-50 clearance. He'll always play the percentages.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting start to the match for him, because a lot of players would have just seen that as a very early opportunity, a chance to go for that first frame. He's just drawn back and said, "No, I don't need to go for it yet. Let's try and get ball in hand and try and deal with some of the mess that's on this table, because it's not a simple table," and that shows a lot of maturity in itself. Really good. So obviously a great opening chance for Luke, which just missed that ball. I think it was just a little bit tight to that top right pocket. He probably only had half a pocket to play towards, and ultimately he's missed it. And now a great opportunity for Morgan.
Yeah, it's one of those what Luke had where you want to be pretty much barrel straight on that sort of shot, because as a player you're always sort of playing it into the right hand jaw, because the red's there and the last thing you want to do is hit the red. And yeah, Morgan's reaped his rewards from a good snooker, which ball in hand, which gets rid of the two trickiest balls on the table for him. So I expect Morgan to take the finish out here, but he'd like to get the ball over this bottom pocket, get rid of that soon, I'd think, so it leaves the ball on the rail as probably his last ball, I would say.
Some prelim games have been played, some pretty one-sided affairs as well. Andrew Patrick beat Connor Jones 7-2. Christy Colefield beat Matt Cook 7-1. Cole Bedford beat Ryan Pisani 7-0. And Tom Jones, off the back of a money match, he must be feeling good about his game at the moment. He's beaten Cleve Thompson 7-2, and he played a pretty big money match against Craig Day last weekend. Big pot as well, and
I was very surprised with that game. I always thought that Tom was no disrespect to Craig, but I thought that was probably Tom was big favourite for that game in my opinion, and I can't believe the pot went to how high it did,
yeah,
because of that fact,
Yeah.
don't know what your opinion is on it, Nick, but I thought the way Tom's improving as well, like Morgan, they've come up through the amateur ranks and they're improving all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
I had Tom down as a big favourite for that match.
Tom's got a lot of money match experience. I mean, Craig has as well. I don't think Craig played as well as he could during that match, but it's a hard environment when you go. And it was obviously, Tom's home venue, and that was a hard one for him. But, yeah, as I say, he'll go into this weekend with a lot of confidence. And talking about a lot of confidence, Lewis Roberts is currently 2-0 up against Tom Cousins on table 2, and Callum Singleton 2-0 up against Greg Batten. So they've started their weekend very nicely.
Morgan's left himself. Oh, what a shot! That's heart of the pocket.
Fantastic
shot. Great shot.
Yeah, he left that tough.
I like that, Nick. He just didn't he didn't shake his head. He knows that he should be way better on that ball, but he didn't shake his head. He didn't huff and puff, and he just took his time.
And he will break in frame number 2.
Oh wow!
Lost the cue ball pretty drastically.
He's hit them so bad, and look at the result. That is unbelievable. Wow. This is where Paul never ceases to amaze me. This is probably the worst contact on that head ball you can see, and he's arguably got the best layout of the weekend so far.
From the middle of the table for that cue ball to go below the centre pocket, he's hit that half ball. I mean,
over the years though, Nick, I've watched, especially on the main table at players for the Monday night events, the bad breakers seem to get the worst results. Like the players that are creaming the cue ball straight up and down in a line, they seem to go dry more than the players that are sort of breaking how Morgan broke then. Obviously he's not aiming to do that. I think most players are probably, apart from maybe Chris Mellon, are trying to get the cue ball back in a straight line or park it somewhere in a straight line on the table.
Just a tiny bit of work to do in terms of the 2 yellows to the right hand side of the table. He should be absolutely fine. He's got a lovely angle here just to run. He'll be playing the one above the 8 ball into. I
don't know whether it's worth just leaving the gap, so you don't risk snookering yourself behind the 8 or landing short. Or
it looks like.
Yeah, I think that's the percentage.
Yeah, he had options there. Could have ran through another 4 or 5 inches and taken the one above the 8 ball into the right centre, but absolutely perfect angle here just to run on and off the right hand side cushion. He kind of dragged that, and I mean it felt he could play that more naturally and just come further across the table. He's left himself a bit of a shot here. He has to try and hold for the 8 ball. This should have been much easier than it is. That's
maybe lack of experience on this table. On these TV tables, everything throws so much wider, so all he needed on that was a tracer side, but whereas on an outside table you probably do need to put that little bit of stun on that shot, but all he needed was a tracer side on these slick tables and everything throws wider. But I expect him to still get this yellow, but it's harder than it should have been. Yeah, well cued.
Yeah, very nice.
Morgan looks in really good touch here.
Held the cue ball very nicely as well, and he'll learn a lot from that one shot. And that's the thing about Morgan as well. He'll register that. There's a little note in there that's just saying, right, I know that for next time. 7-0. Yeah,
I just got into the arena in the final frame. Ryan's played a loss of turn, snookered Cole. Did you see it? And he's just come round with 2 cushions crossed up with the black in the centre. No apology, nothing, just shook his hand and walked off. Found it quite funny, to be honest. But that was Cole in a nutshell.
What a monster of a break that is, by the way. He has absolutely creamed that pack, and here we are. Actually, not a bad layout. The stray ball to the right hand side near the 8 ball. He'll want to leave that probably as his last ball. It gives him easy position onto the 8. That's probably a ball that you normally wouldn't want to leave until last, but given where the 8 ball is and the fact that it's guarded by those 2 yellows, it offers the perfect ball to land on the 8.
Yeah, this is a nice pattern now. I think he'll be playing on the ball onto the top rail here. Doesn't want to be straight. Yeah, perfect.
Just enough, yeah.
So good response by Luke, but they've still got a little bit of work to do. He needs to make sure he's got the right angle on the next two balls. And that is a bit straight. I think he can force punch it just to get somewhere near the yellow.
He doesn't want,
sort of in line with the yellow. You don't want to go anywhere near it. But
he needs to leave this red fairly straight, doesn't he? He doesn't. If he leaves a big angle, then he's in trouble. So that looks perfect.
Such a straight cueist is Luke. You never expect him to miss any pots like that. Cues the ball very well.
Quick as a flash, Luke Gilbert.
The way he plays the game, free-flowing, attacking, big breaker. So he is a confident player and he's confident in his ability.
Wow, that was a much, much better break from
I think
Morgan
he should have stuck with
McInnes.
his first tactic. He had a better result.
That was,
Skim off the top ball.
He's absolutely flushed this, and the cue ball's popped up off the table. It was just about to stop, and then just got kicked in. Very unlucky, and wide open table. And fully expect this one to be 2 each very, very soon.
That's unbelievable. Look, he didn't even make a ball other than the cue ball, and you think on his last break he made 2 or 3 and left the easiest layout you could wish for. Crazy game.
Luke just needs to be careful there. He just saw him kind of the cue ball just... We've seen that a few times where a player puts down a cue ball and it just flicks off their finger and runs across and hits another ball and it's
we've all
foul.
done
It's
that
like,
before,
oh my goodness. Horrible.
So it's been a great start to this match by both players. They both settled in really well. A mistake by Luke in the first frame, but he looks to be in fine form now.
Yeah, just had enough angle there. He could punch it across. He wants to take these 2 balls to the top left first, and then use the one over the centre as his transition ball to get down the table. And again, navigating it absolutely perfectly. So he can just pick his spot now. And this is just again just a simple shot, but one that is easy to overrun if you haven't quite got the pace of the table. Lovely. Didn't want to finish too high because then the red would have come into play.
He would have loved another roll. I think he's got to load this up with left hand side. Yeah, but he's played it really well.
Yeah. Very nice. He's definitely settled now.
Great standard so far by these 2 players. Trying out as well. There's a commentator's curse for you, isn't it?
That definitely is.
Sorry, Luke, if you watch this back.
He nailed the break as well, but I mean, it wasn't kicked in. It was literally straight in off.
Commentator's curse at its finest there, isn't it?
And with ball in hand, he can get straight into his problem red over on the side cushion.
Yeah, lovely shot.
And now it's all pretty simple work.
Still got some work to do with the 8.
Yeah.
I wonder whether he'll just be leaving it to play short position on it last ball, because the red just below the black spot, the 8 spot, as he's looking now, if he gets the cue ball there, it's perfect to land on the 8 in the same pocket. So I think you'll see him go middle, corner, middle, and just track down the table to somewhere in line with the right middle to leave the perfect angle to get back onto the 8 into the same corner as his last red.
Yeah, should be fairly simple work. I mean, he's got the perfect cue ball at the moment. Doesn't really need to do anything. Just probably run the cue ball on and off the cushion just to leave the right angle to track down the table. It's all about that penultimate shot and the angle he leaves on the last red.
That looks ideal to me.
Yeah, just a case of topping this through.
Nothing for short here. You don't want to leave too much angle. Somewhere in line with the the yellow near in the middle pocket would be perfect to me. If he's drawing a line straight up the table, the yellow by the 8. Perfect. Just needs to trace a left-hand side on this. And this is another shot, Nick, where on an outside table you might need a little bit of stun, but on this table it's just literally a case of left-hand spin. Yeah, and he's played it nicely.
Just a fraction short of pace. So he would have loved another roll of the cue ball there, but it's left it thin, very skinny. And cue ball should be fine. The cue ball.
Yeah, I think the cue ball's fine. I think he can just put all his concentration and effort into the pot, and I don't think the cue ball can even go right middle. I think the yellows are in the way. Oh, he's overcut it. Wow.
He has indeed.
Wow. It's tough because on those shots you think in your head that you've got to hit it as thin as possible when really you don't, and that's just what Morgan's done there. He's thought as long as I get a thin contact on the black it's gonna be in, but you still need your full concentration, and that could be a big mistake by Morgan. As we see in this game so many times, that mistake could cost you 2 or 3 frames, and we'll just see what happens over on the back of this. Oh, wow, I can't believe he's played.
No.
I can't believe he's played it that hard. No. There was a risk of that bouncing out, or anything could have happened there. I thought he could have just dropped it in with a bit of right-hand spin, and he's on the red in the yellow over the pocket, but...
Yeah, I wouldn't... I mean, it's a simple enough plan, but...
Is that a sign of the confidence you spoke about before, Nick? Probably. Yeah. Just feels invincible at the moment. Upped his pace as well, hasn't he? Just got a little bit quicker. Very nice. It's hard, isn't it? Because in this Pro Series it's so stacked that you could argue that every single game is a 50-50, so if you were going to have a flutter you'd probably go with the second favourite, because in this field everyone can beat everyone over a race to 7. It's just whoever breaks well, whoever gets chances pretty much.
First glance, the yellows, they look pretty good. The 2 yellows that kind of straddle that white line through the middle of the table, they just need a bit of attention. If they went to the middle, it would make life easier, but I think they're just a bit on top of each other, and I think the red's in the way as well, so he just needs to think about how he's gonna land on those.
Oh, he's been very fortunate there.
Hasn't he ever? That is most definitely not what he played.
I think he played to stun around the 2 cushions to possibly land on those yellows into either corner pocket that he played the first yellow in, but yeah, he's had a touch. I think he can just nip this and screw back off the bottom cush. Still not perfect. He would like to have been dead straight so he could roll forward for the ball on the right hand side, but...
Does it pass to middle?
Yeah, he goes in the middle.
There's
an argument to take it in the top bag, because then you're naturally going to be on that ball on the right hand side.
Yeah. I think he's okay. I think the cannon kind of half...
I didn't like that.
Oh no.
Is he just there, Nick?
Yeah, he's still okay.
But he's
got the one to top left. Oh, I don't know, from that angle.
I don't think he is.
No, from the overhead it looked like he was okay, but from this angle, from there it looks like he's got plenty of space.
That's why I think there was a case for top pocket, because it's a much tougher pot, but there was no danger of that happening. There was no danger of the cue ball. He was always guaranteed to be on a ball after that. And
he's not left the gap, has he?
Oh wow!
If he's left this gap,
that's unbelievable. That is unbelievable. Wow.
Team blessed.
Morgan's one for not showing his emotions, but I'm sure even he could have a little laugh to himself about that. Oh, laugh or
I saw him look at it a couple of times and I thought it must not be there.
Team blessed strikes again.
This one's...
I think he wanted to be on the yellow.
Need to be higher,
right, yeah. I think he wanted to be on this yellow down into the bottom pocket, because he certainly don't want to leave that long till last, because... Yeah, as we go back to that, Nick, I think if Luke had a bit more time on that yellow where it went wrong, he would have probably took it to the top pocket, but it is tough under these shot clocks. how does he get on the 8 from here? Is he playing for the skill shot on these?
He is. That's what he's looking at. You want to be behind this, so don't you? He's going to have to top this through, and he's going to be playing. You can't get close with it. Well, you can come off the side cushion. Oh, that just drops. Well, this looks just about.
Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect, isn't it? It's the red is just set just to the top half of the pocket. Oh, delightful.
The spin transfers into topspin onto the object ball, and that's why you see you want to be ideally being able to play it with backspin, really. A lot of the time they're played as sort of like a touch shot if you're right behind them, you know, just like a soft screw. But I've seen people playing with topspin before. The best combination shot player I've ever seen is John McInnes.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, he's incredible.
I've seen him play a back double in the corner bag skill shot before, and I was just like, wow. I was playing him in practice, and he actually played for it and sort of smiled, and then he just got down and nailed it, back double in the corner, a skill shot, and I was just like, mate, just give it a rest. Like, it was ridiculous.
That's a beautifully controlled shot. Just controlled that so nicely off the cushion.
Yeah, that wasn't an easy shot on the slick table.
Just slightly hampered by the red, but he's absolutely fine.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And as we said, Nick, that big mistake from Morgan, it looks like it is going to cost him 3 frames. The missed 8 ball. How many times do we see that in pool? It's crazy, really. That's not the best shot.
It's not great.
I think you have to take the rail ball. Oh no, I think he might have enough to stun across. I think if he plays this with top left, it might not take.
Yeah, I was going to say it has to be top left. It was the wrong angle, but that's okay. That's okay. Can just focus on the pot, just to trace a side on the cue ball.
Yeah, good shot.
Yeah, really. He really does look confident. He is so settled into this environment, into this arena.
Huge frame now for Morgan. You think if he's to lose this one, it's pretty much curtains. The way Luke's playing, and he started off just the way he wanted it to. A great break. The
cueing there suggests that he's just slightly left eye dominant. He was just cueing just to the left hand side of his chin.
Yeah, I've never noticed that before with Morgan, to be honest, until you just mentioned it there.
There's some players who obviously do it huge, like Aaron Davis is the obvious example, who cues near his left ear.
It's amazing how he can pot a ball, isn't it? And it's amazing how he's such a good player.
But yeah, Morgan just definitely favouring the left side there. I don't know, it'd be interesting to see if he does that, whether it's just on his break or whether it's a natural thing for him. I would imagine it probably is a natural thing.
Yeah, now you mention it, I'm sure, I think it is a natural thing, but something I've not properly noticed before. Yeah, as you can see.
Yeah.
It's to the left side of his chin, isn't it? What's he done here? He wanted the gap, didn't he? But
he's got a lot of problems now.
Yeah, I think a safety shot is required here, but he's outnumbered with balls already as he potted a yellow off the break.
Yeah, now's the time to drill stumps, because there's still a lot of problems on there for Luke as well. I don't think we'll see Luke attacking from here.
No, as well as Luke's playing, I don't think even he can clear up from here.
Mark Fleming in the background, watching over his fellow countryman and friend. Mark and his brother Ryan, we'll see them in action over this weekend.
It's a good shot by Luke, but I'm not sure if he's left the long yellow. If he has, it's sort of a free go for Morgan at the finish, really. He's missed that by a way. Oh,
what a flick.
He's raised his hand here, but he could be in a lot of trouble after this shot.
Doesn't do him a lot of favours in this rule set.
don't think Luke wanted the flick on the red. He wanted to hide this yellow. I think it goes to the top pocket and he can just drop it in and he'll be perfect on
the double.
On the double, yeah.
Mm.
And in turn, perfect on the gap if he lands straight enough on the double to play the last yellow into the second last yellow into the corner and just nudge the red. He's played it in the centre. That surprises me, but he's potted it.
Andy Williams is 4-2 up against the young gun Kyle Cope. Kyle obviously new to the Pro Series this year as well. A lot of good things expected from Kyle, but he's trailing.
Did that double kiss? Yeah, he did.
Yeah, it felt like it double kissed.
It did double kiss.
How it's still gone in. Luke's got a smile on his face. He's landed plumb as well.
Wow, that's unreal. Like you say, Nick, he couldn't really. Well, another roll to the right of the cue ball would have been ideal, but I don't think he can grumble.
No, I think he can nip this and
after a fluke like that,
play it into the red. Yeah, maybe a little bit thinner than I initially thought, but you can't avoid going into the red. It's
oh wow,
the
red's going.
That also works.
Wow.
Brilliant.
Yeah, all it takes is a slice of luck sometimes to swing a game.
Yeah.
Oh. Wow, flushed.
Nailed it.
Flushed.
But dry.
Oh, is he dry? I thought one went in the centre. No, I'm seeing things. He'll be glad to see that yellow track down table and cover that red.
Yeah.
Because they look like unmissable finish until that happened.
Yeah. That's just going to cause a bit of a headache.
I was saying unmissable, there was still work there to be honest, but and it's certainly a lot harder now.
God, look at this table, actually. It's a mess, isn't it? I mean... I like the fact that you can't play a plant, opposite ball onto... It just makes it that little bit tougher. Because if you could play a plant here, it would be an easy opener.
Yeah, that's one rule I've always hated, even before international rules were invented, is that rule in black ball rules where you can play red onto yellow. It just makes the game too easy for me. Yeah. And the rule that you can pot a yellow and then go reds, they're the two rules what just for me just baffled me, to be honest. I don't know why they're even a rule, but here we are, so many different rule sets in pool, but that is the rule that I like, that you can't play the plant red onto yellow because it makes you have to work for something and do something, whereas sometimes you can have an easy way out when you can, in black ball rules, you can play a red onto a yellow.
Andy Williams now 5-2 up against Kyle Cope. Lewis Roberts 5-4 against Tom Cousins. Callum Singleton 5-3 against Greg Batten. Those are the three games that are ongoing in the arena at the moment. Coming up in the next session, you have the choice of Christy Colefield against Phil Harrison, Craig Waddingham against John McAllister, and up on the main arena table next is going to be Carl Morris against Carl Sutton. Battle of the two Carls. Luke won't mind this frame taking 6-7 minutes off the clock.
Yeah, definitely. I was just thinking, if I'm Morgan here, I wouldn't mind being yellows maybe. Well, no. Don't really want to push the boat out if it's not needed, I suppose. But one of them's going to have to do something soon, and who's going to go first?
Well, I think
none of them want to go here, which is the right decision.
Yeah, Morgan will be under more pressure. I mean, there's still 21 minutes on the clock, so no immediate pressure, but a few more minutes off and you just start to look at that clock and think that he needs to...
I was going to say, he doesn't want to split them, the red and yellow.
No.
Could have left Luke a chance.
All the balls just clustered down the middle of the table now. there's still nothing particularly attractive here,
No,
but
the carrot has been dangled here. I think
yeah.
Morgan will be going.
I think you have to here. He's got the angle to break out. Some of the yellows in the middle of the table. A lot of work to do, but if ever there was a chance. Yeah, really well controlled as well. I think a lot of players would have been tempted to hit that with more pace. Controlled it very nicely.
I think he's got the perfect angle to come down into the... If he can get the gap of the red and yellow, it'll be absolutely ideal, and I think the yellow on the 8 spot might go into the right centre as well. Oh yeah, it's probably the right shot. Just to tuck up.
You're right though, I mean he was bang on that line. I mean the trouble was it was hampered cueing. If he hadn't have been hampered then may well have been a more of an option. But, that's okay.
Yeah, I think that's the right shot.
Yeah, I think so. Looks he just doesn't need to push the boat out here. Problem is the yellows are there now, aren't they?
I was going to say, was there a case there for Luke sort of planting the 2 reds and trying to cover the pocket where the 8 is, and maybe just nudging Morgan's yellow onto the side rail? But I think the yellow by the 8 spot goes into the right centre, so he would have been leaving Morgan a good chance, really. Good confident pot by Morgan.
Yeah, it looks okay.
Tricky cueing, I think.
Just slightly hampered. I think the red's just far enough away that leaves a long bridge. Definitely makes his shot harder.
Oh, we put a bit of a wanted side on.
Yeah, it's because of that long bridge, isn't it? You're absolutely right. It was just the red was just in the wrong place. Much harder when you've got to look at that length of bridge.
Could he have just stunned it in there and left the gap? I'm not sure, but he obviously seen it different. I think Morgan's still big favourite, yeah. Especially now. Can't see a hiding place for Luke here, really.
No.
Maybe somewhere up near the top right.
It's okay. I mean, hampered cueing as well. It's going to make it a tough positional shot for Morgan.
I wonder now if Luke's 2 reds plant off the yellow. No.
No,
Don't
I
think so.
was looking at that myself and I think they're just set wrong, aren't they? Oh, what
that's
a
a
shot.
great shot. That's actually really unlucky.
Oh, I mean, he can still,
Yeah, you can still put Morgan in a bit of trouble.
especially if that's touching ball. You'll be delighted if it is.
It wasn't touching, but he still put Morgan in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a lovely shot. Little tap on the table. Really well controlled.
Yeah, I think that was more appreciation from the shot before, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was a brilliant shot. As long as Morgan hits the yellow, he's going to leave a lot of work for Luke still. Oh, he had to
through
make
the
sure he hit
gap.
the yellow. There's still work there for Luke, but with cue ball in hand, he can develop these these 2 reds.
Yeah, just sit on it, can't he? Push the red across. It's okay.
Yeah, good shot.
Yeah.
You'd like the extra security, but still, he's made sure of the snooker.
Yeah, I was going to say
extra
another
security of the 8.
another
Yeah.
roll on the red would have been ideal, but that's still fine. All there now. player for Luke.
Yeah, he would have loved to have been on this ball that is tight onto the bottom cush, but shouldn't be a problem for Luke.
Just hesitated for a second. Thought the 8 was going to sit on top of the red ball, but I think it's just gone far enough.
Yeah, I think the natural is through the gap of the yellows as well, so nothing to do here with the cue. We'll just concentrate on the pot. Yeah, lovely. So a huge frame in this match, and it looks to be going the way of Luke Gilbert.
Morgan's not made that many mistakes as he's played well. Just that Luke's just been a bit better.
Yeah, it's that 8 ball which was huge. He was sat in his chair for 3 frames after that.
Yeah.
Apart from one break off, I think Luke broke and cleared 2 and cleared 1 off Morgan's break. That's the way this game works. A big mistake, it costs you frames. It doesn't just cost you the 1 frame. That's a poor shot from Luke. That should be okay, but yeah, actually, he might not be. That is poor.
Yeah.
Can he play a soft sort of cannon? No, that's risky though. If he can screw past the 8, he's okay. Yeah. Oh.
Tester.
I don't think the natural is enough. I think the natural is to come down behind these 2 yellows off the 2 cushions. Great shot.
Never in doubt, was it?
Great shot.
He is playing well.
Again, he's come across the front ball, and this time no friends.
No, lost it slightly. Just caught the knuckle on that left middle pocket.
And I think we'll see Luke take out the match here. The yellows look very inviting.
Greg Batten fighting back. He's now 5-4 down.
Was Callum 5-2? Was it 5-2 Callum in that? Nick? Can't remember now.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
Yeah, Luke wants to, you just got to be careful here that you don't snook yourself. Maybe play high on this ball. He definitely wants to get it out of the way. Oh wow, maybe I assumed that yellow he's closest to went in the centre pocket, but I think he might have been playing position on it into the top right there. I think if it doesn't go in the centre, it certainly goes off the red that's nearest to the centre, I'd imagine. I think he's played position on it again, and he's absolutely perfect.
Yep.
Great shot. That was risky. Why did he play it with screw?
Goodness me.
Wow, that was risky. He's had a touch again. Team Blessed is back.
He's not afraid to dead weight a ball, is he?
Lovely shot.
A lot of faith in the table.
Yeah.
Shows how well this table's been set. Oh, just a tiny touch aside on that. It's kicked the cue ball down the table.
But again, he's left the perfect angle just to drift on and off the top rail.
Yep.
Great performance by Luke.
Very good stuff from Luke Gilbert.